guys. Folks, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm done, I promise. Ow, ow, I promise I'm done, I promise. Hello and welcome to Volume 1 of my thrilling, aspiring video essay series, The Insecure Men Files, where we study the mental state of particularly fragile men, displaying the folly in their behavior and speculating as to what goes on beyond their keyboards. The main focus in this series is going to be misogyny, as I can't think of anything quite as insecure as insisting that others are below you. Subject 1 is niche, but I promise it's interesting. And it's also not the survival game. To the two people that got that reference, thank you. Give me a kiss on the mouth. In fact, it's about an isekai RPG PNG gambling simulator, Hoyo vs. Genshin Impact. More specifically, the staggering response to one such Paygate-locked clump of pixels from a certain subsect of the game's fandom. Hoyoverse is a Chinese company, and the subsect of the fandom that I'm looking at is also Chinese, which made research for this video very interesting. So, who is this so-called Hat Man? Why does he keep appearing in my room at 3 a.m.? And how many Benadryl is it safe to take in a 24-hour period? He's this emo pretty boy named Scaramouche, aka Wanderer, aka Kunikizushi, aka Deerballs, aka Pussy Destroyer 69XX, aka my favorite puppet in a mech suit. Wait, hold on, I'm getting a call. Yellow? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. My second favorite. He's my second favorite puppet in a mech suit. Yeah. I mean, it's really weird that there's two, but... Wait, actually, now that I think of it, I think there's 3. Topic laid to rest. Mildly related pop culture references aside, he's a playable character from Genshin Impact. He's garnered a lot of popularity, and just attention in general. He's both widely loved and widely hated by different subsects of the fandom. And honestly, you know, from my experience in the Western fandom, it's all pretty sane, you know? Like, I understand the distaste, because, like, you know, he kind of has this personality that not even a mother could love. But, you know, a horny 14-year-old girl? Yeah, Yep, that's right up their alley. I don't want to get too deep into the lore, but it's kind of relevant. So, like, he was like this, emo mafia boss mass murderer guy. Then he, like, turned into, like, the mech guy, the mech guy. And, yeah, and then he got the shit beat out of him by an Arabic radish. And now he's, like, this disgruntled college student that kind of just, like, scoffs at everything and just, like, stands in the background awkwardly, Yeah, and 14-year-old girls make thirst traps of them. It's a little weird. And all of that brings us to part 1. Chinese Twitter, basically. It's actually called Bilibili, but it's, after having used it for research, it's basically Twitter, which, yeah, that's the level of discourse we're dealing with here. Last summer, during the game's 4.8 patch, drama broke out on the Chinese social media platform Bilibili, basically Twitter. A certain vocal minority of male fans were upset with Scaramouche's inclusion in the event plotline. Upset that he was there at all, but even more so that he was the hero of the story for Manic Pixie Dream Girl and the Evil Dragon.
Hey, stop! Noah! Hey, stop! Noah! Stop! Look at me! Noah, look at me!
Even more so than all of that, their main complaint was that he was too close to Nilu, a female character who was also featured in the event. They accused Hoyoverse of trying to ship the two of them together because of very minor similarities between Nilu's new skin and Scaramouche's signature weapon. And also because they were, like, breathing too close to each other or something. Now, this was a very interesting take to have. And by interesting, I mean illiterate, playing the game blindfolded and muted, objectively incorrect take. I don't really know what's going on, but it feels like I'm getting cucked somehow. In fact, Nilu was 10 times more interested in The Traveler, and 37k people on Instagram agree with me here that there was too much fan service between Nilu and The Traveler. I mean, quite literally, Scaramouche puts us in her lap. Bro, what? Like, what are they on about? Regardless of the truth, that didn't stop thousands of people from blasting Billy Billy throughout July and August, spamming AI-generated pictures of Nilu and Scaramouche together that were really bad.
Why her pussy out?
Blasting AI-generated comments all over the Billy Billy Genshin page, and mass unfollowing. I mean, thousands and thousands of unfollowing. Thousands and thousands of unfollowing. These posts also took to calling The Traveler a camera for not being involved enough in the event's plotline, and an NTR. And immediately I'm gonna have to phone a friend because I touch too much grass to understand what that means. So, hold on. Yeah, hello, Urban Dictionary? Help.
NTR or netarare. Naz in netarara means sleep in this case. The lover's sleeping with someone, cheating.
Okay. Yeah, so they were calling The Traveler a cuck. And that brings up an interesting point. One of the main points of this video is trying to figure out why this subsect of fans hates Scaramouche so much. It's to an unreasonable degree that they're going to unfollow their favorite page on Bilibili and spam all these AI-generated arts and put so much energy into hating. Why? The number one reason they're giving, the first reason, is that he's cucking The Traveler, allegedly, right? Like, he's too close to Nilu, and The Traveler's not getting enough alone time with Nilu, even though she literally, like, hugged him, and, like, there was a bunch of fan service, and it was kind of annoying. But that's the first reason. That's the first one they're giving. Okay. Guess what? It's not actually true, and they were aware of this. There was some cognitive dissonance in some of the shitposts. For instance, there were edits of The Traveler being taken out of Nilu's lap. Why? In theory, that should be what they want. But no, this isn't the actual reason they hate him. And I have another way to prove it. Deeply strange is the comparison to Scaramouche in the 4.8 event, who got widely hated, and the 2.8 event that came out 2 years ago, with Kazuha in it. You see, 4.8 and 2.8 are pretty similar. They were both summer patches, and what the game normally does for that is send the Traveler on some magical journey in this, like, magical far-off land with a certain group of playable characters. And in 2.8, it was a bunch of female characters, and the male character, Kazuha. Going through the plotline, you, like, figured out more about their lore and their struggles and stuff, and in all of them, Kazuha is providing encouraging words. Kazuha is actually interacting with the female cast, where Scaramouche basically was not at all. Like, he was standing off in the corner swaddling his new reptilian son. Meanwhile, Kazuha was actually getting along with these characters.
Let me take a look. Huh? Oh my.
And did not receive this kind of hate. There was none of this. I did research, none of this. People didn't care. But they care when it's Scaramouche. So this point isn't valid. This is a fake complaint. It's not just because there's a male character that's too close to the female characters. It's something specific about Scaramouche. So their first given reason was that Scaramouche was too close to the female cast. And my counter argument was, number one, he was not, and number two, Mr. Poorly printed off picture of Kazuha was closer and did not receive this kind of hate. With people going so far as to make spam bots spamming over 48,000 comments per minute on the official Genshin Bilibili page, and with a reason given that was not even substantiated, I became really curious. I had to look deeper. What is the actual reason? Why do they hate him so much? How did they get this triggered? So I took to the internet. Let's rewind back to 2023. If you can believe it, the Bilibili story that I gave earlier is the least unhinged thing you will hear from here on out. So it all started when Reddit user Snoo2616 made an expose about the behavior on certain Chinese forum websites, TIBA and NGA, from certain subsects of the Chinese Genshin fandom. Snoo alleged that the users of these forums had a particular disdain for Scaramouche, going so far as to bring that disdain beyond the internet into real life. They purportedly doxed and harassed Hoyoverse's female writing staff because they must be responsible for his inclusion in the game, harassed his VA during live streams, and reported Hoyoverse to the actual Chinese government to try and get them to remove Scaramouche from the game. What do you know, that didn't work. The CCP isn't that crazy. And on top of all of that, to just get even worse, there were incidents, 2 incidents, where people killed actual living, breathing cats and posted pictures of the dismembered bodies online because the cats were black and reminded them of Scaramouche. Now you might be saying, now Meredith, what do you mean? Scaramouche was like a purple cat, not a black cat. Yeah, you know, black cats were probably the closest they could find to that purple, bluey, whatever color, because, what do you know? He's not real! Despite what warrior cats will tell you, there are no blue cats. They're like grayish. On top of that, Snoo also alleged that the online behavior was similarly crazy, with them making up a slur for female Scaramouche fans, Sanji. God, oh no. No. No! No! And spamming their forums with just hateful messages, misogynistic messages, just really, really toxic websites, they allege that these 2 websites were. Shortly after they made that post in some American server where Americans and just English speakers in general could see it, yeah, they got doxxed. They were doxxed. So they deleted their account and, or deleted the post, yeah, because they were doxxed. Interesting. So in reposts I can find with screenshots of their post, I go to the comments and I learn a lot more, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And there were other people alleging similar things. But there's an equal amount of people saying, source? I'm gonna need a source. Those are a lot of serious claims with no source. So, you know, I decided that I had to do some research, because technically it's true. I mean, there are multiple people claiming this on the Reddit post, and, you know, Snoo got, doxxed into deleting their account, but, you know, I do need a source. So I did some digging.
It's working! Are there any girls who can play Genshin Impact? I am a pure boy. I just started playing Genshin Impact. Please help. We like a character. It's our freedom. It's none of your business. Liking is a person's freedom. Like to complain. Why don't you do more good things for the country? They're making fun of the game in general. It's not really targeted on him. I think people who like Sanbing must have a good temper in real life and never quarrel with people online, because Sanbing does all kinds of things evil in the game and erases the victim's memory to exterminate. After he is selected as a character and whitewashes the plot, he never looks at the player Traveler in a good way and permanently insults the player Traveler and all other characters. So you like this character, you must have a good temper in real life. You would never fight back when you were beaten or scolded. Okay, hold on. They kind of ate me. They kind of demolished. That's so uncanny. No, he looks like the son from Teletubbies. I did it. They remember. This is just one character over and over. However, the fact is that these cooks have the worst personalities in real life, and their usual behavior is the same of that of the scattered soldiers. Again, I wish I knew what this was saying. It is the game that reflects on them. No wonder the protagonist was changed. Seeing such a thing with the same personality as myself can temporarily become the protagonist. It is full of cooking power. The mouth and pussy of a scattered soldier are reversed. He eats food in his pussy every day. It's nonsense in his mouth every day. Of course he has 256 posts, and of course it's a like yandere image of an anime girl, an anime maid girl from an isekai. Of course you're a isekai fan. Are there people around you who like to be scattered soldiers? Tell us about their daily life and amazing deeds. I know one. He is so amazing. He is a filial son. He won't allow anyone to say anything bad about his dad. And when he sees the paratroopers, he becomes like a bitch in heat. I feel like she's about to have an orgasm. You've never seen a female orgasm. Shut up. Oh my god, there's so much cognitive dissonance. Wait, what? This one here is saying like, oh, they're such people pleasers, they must be so easy to be around, and then this one's right here is like, they must be pieces of shit. Like, nothing you're saying makes sense at all. They ate. What? They like yandere people who call themselves Hold on. No. Hold on. You can't be calling out yandere people. Saying he's Dawe's favorite. Okay. Gender identity disorder? A friend of mine, male, I hate knocking, he was called slur for female, but whether it's caused by playing Genshin Impact. You heard it here, folks. Genshin Impact, transing your kids, transing your family, transing your friends. One step at a time. They won't stop until the whole world has been transed by cute little anime characters. Oh boy, here we are. Okay. Why is it specifically Barbara? Isn't she a minor? Wait, what is going on?
多给 LGBT 玩家们多点福利。
LGBT?
这是必须的。
What the dog do?
老板，到汇报时间了。矮 LGBT 贵族提鞋都不配，不过那些宅男都不玩我们的。
同胞
I
们，
feel like
是
this is
的
so...
白河搞基的女童、男童和小仙女们才是我们的。我们用钱养的那么多
Wait,
水
wait,
军，
wait, go
不就
back,
是
go
用来
back,
干
go
的那么
back.
多水军？
Barbara is
我们用钱。
tweaking. She's tweaking out, dude.
你们看，那个人好像
This
是
is
条狗啊。
so bad.
If I back it up, is it fat enough?
好的，B 站上只要是对我们游戏不利的视频，
I'm
都是会被下架的。
so lost. I still...
我要让所有人都能感受到我们游戏的美好。
Wait, what? Unironically feels AI generated. These pictures probably are. I really do feel like that just ties it all together, and I'm definitely done for the night. This has been...
Morning sunshine.
Ah. Okay. Okay, so now we have you again. Just post pictures of dismembered bodies. Those Sanjis who are defenseless are impossible to communicate with. The more you scold them, the happier they are. After all, they like Sanji's foul mouth. He done got Glenn. He got Negan. Creepypasta. Aw. Gamers. Gamers. This wasn't even what I was looking for. Oh no. Honestly, I'm surprised it took this long. I need this on my door. Why does he look like he likes it? Is this Jojo?
Hey buddy, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I just want you to know that it's pretty smelly over here and it's been stinky for about the last 10 minutes.
Who all is this man married by now? Dawei and Nilu saying another outrageous OP said that Skara is a national hero. There's nothing wrong with saying that Inazuma is Japanese. Use your anthropid cerebellum and cerebrum. I think that was a shit post and I just got baited. God, I can't even scroll for a little bit. And he's here again. He's already back. They're so obsessed. Already back. Oh. Oh. So he's Hitler, and he's, I guess, this is probably the Japanese general. Okay. Of course, the most disgusting one must be the scattered soldier cook, and no one can take this otter away. I said it was a tumor long ago. I wanted to kill it before it entered the card pool, but a lot of people argued with me. Before 3.0, I said that if the soldiers entered the card pool, Zumi could be skipped. At that time, I didn't see Misan's face so clearly, but I smelled the tumor of the fans in 1.1. The 1.1 was when we got Skara for the first time, so they what? No. Anyway, Miss There's No Proof Snoo just got proved correct. Y'all don't deserve me.
Alright, so this is in post, this is editing, Meredith, but I had to include this even though I couldn't get on the website. So all of those clips were from Tiba, but there's another website called NGA that I mentioned. I couldn't get into it because you needed a real, genuine Chinese phone number to make an account, and you needed an account to view the posts. I wanted so bad to get on there, but I kept failing. There was one comment on the Reddit post from a user of NGA that gave us an anecdote and said that there were a lot of normal people on the NGA forum, but there were also a lot of, like, really weird skirmish hating incels, right? So they would just, like, spam any Genshin related post with a bunch of, like, hate comments about Scaramouche, and everyone else that played the game was like, dude, we don't care, like, please shut up, like, we get it, you hate the twink, I don't care. So someone that was not a Scaramouche hater made, like, a dedicated Scaramouche hating, like, I guess, like, the equivalent of a subreddit, basically, like, an insane asylum, right? Like, they could put on their straitjacket a schizo post about the fictional twink over there, and all the normal people could say on the normal Genshin forum, and I could not go without.
And so with all of that research out of the way, we circle back to the main point of the video. Why? What made them this triggered? Why are they so schizophrenically obsessed with a fake anime boy from a game they supposedly love? I believe I have found a coherent answer to that question. Now, quick disclaimer, it is merely a game theory, and it may turn out to be more of a Sans' nest than anything that MatPat has managed to get correct in his career, but parts of it feel more like a theory in the same way that gravity is a theory. It all has to do with the game's genre. RPG, action, fantasy, sure, but more specifically, isekai. As I mentioned earlier in the video, it's an isekai. As a quick overview for weebs and normies alike, isekai refers to a genre of anime. Generally, isekai tends to follow the same basic storyline. We start by meeting our young male lead, very plain and average looking, and we see his pathetic excuse for a life. He has no job, he's failing school, his family hates him, and his only hobbies consist of eat, beat meat, and an excruciating and painful cycle of repeat. Just so happens to be an exaggerated caricature of
viewers like you. Thank you.
But then, something happens. Our male lead gets another chance at life, and is transported to a magical world full of monsters, fantastical whimsy, and suspiciously aged anime girls who happen to obsess and dote over him. There's some variation from there, but that's the gist. Oh, and also the only good one is called ReZero. And the, like, first 10 episodes of SAO before all of this stuff happened. Picking that plotline apart, a theme begins to emerge, and that's where my theory lies. Masculine-dominated escapism, Fantasy exists to purge the emotions. And in a world riddled with unprecedented levels of depression and loneliness, especially in young boys and men, isekai takes full advantage of this. They may feel outcasted in society for this, that, and the other, but with the help of isekai, they can close their eyes and imagine that they are the dark-haired anime boy. It's fantasy as a coping mechanism. Genshin, as an RPG with a silent protagonist, leans into this even more. The traveler scarcely has a personality. In fact, sometimes we pick their voice for them. The gacha aspect also leans into this, as one swipe later, the swooning anime girl becomes literally the players. We own them.
Today's subject.
There are slaves. As an epic isekai and action RPG tied into one, Hoyoverse had an obvious audience to appeal to here. A distinctly male one. However, Genshin is not like the other gachas. It saw an untapped market. The ladies.
And they were roommates.
Hoyoverse took a chance and added a bunch of homoerotic pretty boys to the mix. The male players, for the most part, could tolerate it, as these male characters also played into their fantasy.
Watch it together. Hopefully, Al Hytham shows up, rips his shirt off, titties. Oh my god.
Most of them were presented with heroic traits and high moral standards, and even those that weren't showed due respect for our dashing self-insert, the Traveler. I'd call this platonic swooning. These male characters served as self-inserts in their own rights. But you know who just so happens to not display any of these traits? And you know who just so happens to have amassed a vocally feral audience of horny teenage girls?
Hear me out. Scaramouche has really awakened something in me. I never felt I had masochistic tendencies until I started to dream about him restraining me by my arms and legs and kissing my lips as he chokes me. High key, I want him to hurt me, and I don't care that he's crazy. To be honest, Scar's lack of sanity makes me like him more. The fact I have no idea what he could do to me turns me on. Please Scara, I'm on my hands and knees.
Here begins the list of reasons I think these incels hate Scaramouche to such a schizophrenic degree. Number 1. They never learned that sharing is caring. Both gacha games and isekai have historically been very, very male-dominated. They see Genshin's broader appeal, and it hits them like a bucket of freezing water straight to the face. They see women in this community, and all of the content catered to women in the game, as literally invading their safe space, inhibiting their ability to experience a world completely catered to and centered around themselves. Number 2, projection. The Traveler gets flooded with praise and affection, especially from the female cast, wherever they go. Their roster could fill up a football stadium. But you know who doesn't pull, like, at all? Scaramouche. That's why the shitposting left me so confused. Scaramouche didn't fit the bill at all. It didn't make any sense. Until I considered it from another angle. Supposedly, Nilou is the Traveler's, so the self-inserted player's, girl. Now, if we replace Nilou with the true object of the incel's hopeless affection, then... oh, it begins to make sense. See, this was never really about the fictional women that Scaramouche wasn't even attempting to speak to in-game. This was about the real women who enthusiastically adore him, but ignore the incels. When they say that the Traveler is being cucked by Scaramouche, they don't mean Aether and Nilou. They mean real women and themselves.
Why do women only like jerks who treat them like
To try and make this more relatable for the more well-adjusted crowd, imagine that you desire nothing more than your favorite ice cream. And one day you're walking into your ice cream parlor only to find that they're all out of that flavor. And you look to the side and you find this medium ugly short twink. And he has multiple cartons of that flavor and he's spitting all of them. And he looks at you and he calls you a stinky butthead. And then every day when you try to go to that ice cream parlor after, he's sitting on a bench outside, giving you the finger. Yeah, me personally, I would not let that slide. Scaramouche doesn't fit the typical hegemonic standard they can insert themselves into, but he still gets a lot of focus from the game's narrative and the female fanbase. This is what causes the whiplash. The game was supposed to be entirely about them, appealing to an idealized fantasy where they're big and strong with magical powers, and they can pull all the women they want. Complex character arcs? Exploring perspectives other than their own? Worthless. The game is merely an escape to them, and escapes don't make you think. The insane amount of space that Scaramouche takes up in their minds is, in fact, rooted in misogyny. They hate it when you serve for the girls. But even that sexism is rooted in something else entirely. Self-hatred. When your only outlet for venting your emotions is hatred for an anime boy, and you spend the rest of your time swiping on pixels and aggressively cranking your hog in an attempt to feel something, I can't imagine you got a lot of good things going on up here. They spiral into unhealthy habits so that they don't get laid. And then because they don't get laid, they fall even more into those unhealthy habits. It's a classic, vicious cycle. You know, I really hate to say it, but ContraPoint's got it right.
Sexy furry pounded by skinny T-babe.
Some of these men just need an old, bigoted man to tell them to make their bed in the morning. You heard me, Jordan Peterson. Get a Chinese interpreter. The world depends on it. Oh, also they need Jesus. Yeah, like the one from the Bible. You know, that would work significantly better than Kermit the crack addict we got over here. As far as closing thoughts go, I'd like to wrap back around to my earlier ice cream analogy. What if, instead of going home and raging about the ice cream boy on Twitter, you instead took the time to actually sit down and listen to him? And I mean really listen to him. Treat him with dignity and respect. Maybe then, he would have shared some of his ice cream with you. And if not, well, at least you put yourself out there. Nah, who am I kidding? Killing animals is way funnier. What?
In bed that makes a man go crazy every time.
You gotta give him that.
The Wanderer's Elemental Burst Kyojin. 5 ceremonial plays.